What is up, guys? Half Slab Bacon back with another episode of our 1.9 survival tutorial. So, first off, to all you lovely people, let me apologize for not getting this episode up on Friday. If you watched the Life in the Woods series, you would have heard that I was kind of ill last week. And I thought it was getting better when I filmed that episode, and it turned out it was getting worse. If you're not watching that series, you should be, because you would have known that, and the series is freaking awesome. On a side note, though, guys, follow Twitter. Most of the time, I tweet out if something like that comes up, so check me out on Twitter, just so you're not wondering what's going on. But as you can see, I have gotten some stuff done. I actually did record on Saturday. I was still a little ill, but I recorded doing the zombie spawner downstairs. However, unfortunately, in my infinite wisdom, because I was still kind of a little sick and out of it and groggy, I decided to try testing out some new backup software while I was recording, and it corrupted the recording. So that brings us to where we are today. I was able to recover the video, but the audio was gone. Finny, out of there. So what we're going to do, guys, is I put a little montage together of the actual building, and then I will walk you guys through and give you all the nitty-gritty details on what happened and why. So why don't we get on that? Alrighty, let's go off to the zombie spawner. Woo! Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that little montage. So now what I think we'll do is I'm going to actually pop into spectator mode, and that'll allow me to walk you through the whole thing. So we're going to do that by first changing our field of view back into the normal, and we're going to go into our options, go open to LAN, allow cheats, so that we enable our command prompt. And then we're just going to switch like this into game mode 3. Now, spectator is enabled. This will allow us to pass through blocks so that I can show you all the detailed parts of the build. Now, it is important to note here, guys, if you're looking to do a skeleton spawner, the concept's the same, okay? The concept is identical, save for that with the zombie spawner. It's actually a little more complicated because we have the baby zombies we have to separate. That's why I went with a drop test on this, because the drop XP farm is about the most complicated in terms of filtering out those babies. So first off, I found my dungeon, obviously, and I started by building this lovely area here. So we went into this and we hollowed out a 9x9 area across from the spawner. So that's 4 blocks of air in all directions on the sides of the spawner. And then we went 2 blocks above, and you notice the glass is there. That's to keep them from getting stuck on top. And you notice we went way down here. Well, there's a reason why for that. Conventional, usually what you see is people will kind of hollow out the block underneath the spawner, and then they'll put their water running the block below that, so 2 blocks down. The reason for that is the way a spawner works is it will spawn at the center of the spawn block, so that height, 1 block above or 1 block below. So as long as you have air in all those areas, then you're good to go in terms of maximizing spawning area. However, and this is what most people don't know, the spawn check is actually a little bit wider. The spawn check is actually 9x9x9. So while it only spawns a block above or below, when it checks for mobs in the area, it checks 4 blocks above and 4 blocks below and 4 blocks off in each side. So that conventional go 2 blocks down and add the water trap, what actually occurs is if there's zombies or skeletons traveling down the water stream, they're within that 4 blocks below. And if the spawner actually does a check at that period in time, that minimizes your spawns, because if there's 2 there, it's only going to spawn 2. If there's 4 there, it spawns none, and it waits for the next cycle. So by going this far down, we effectively dropped 6 blocks below. And the reason we dropped 6 blocks below is once we get all the way down here, they're too high. That leaves that 4 block gap between the spawner and where they are. So as soon as they hit this water stream, they can bob up and down. They're not within range of the check. So that just absolutely maximizes our spawning. This thing has as close to a 0% failure rate as you're going to get. Unfortunately, there's always some failure rate for them attempting to spawn within the spawn block itself or within, say, those 2 glass above it. So there's always a partial. Now next, what I did here, nice and simple, is I placed ice underneath the water stream. You saw that I placed the ice in the water first and then spread it out. That was just to keep it from melting while I placed the ice, because I did have lighting in here, and the lighting does throw off heat, which will melt your ice. The next part to note is that we have to go up really, really high because we went down so low. Now, water travels 8 blocks, so I had to travel 8 here, and then it has to go dead center here to get this even flow. So since this isn't 8 blocks on either side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's a 9x9. It has to be dead center on that fifth for both streams for it to travel evenly. Now, the way this worked out for me to put it in the center of the room upstairs, I had to go off to the side here. That's not necessary. You can just go straight back and then go up. I did it for aesthetics. But as you will note, I've got that running here, and this is actually the 8th block where the water ends. If it wasn't, I would have put a sign there to stop it from going into the lava. So this is going to allow our baby zombies to get pushed into that lava there and kill them off, so they're not getting up into our mix, because obviously they're not going to travel very well up these water streams. They're going to get either stuck or pushed by the other mobs. Another note is, you will notice I went 3 blocks high and dropped a half slab there. The half slab is simply to compensate for them bobbing up and down, because they're 2 blocks high, so that extra half block just helps with congestion. Then you will notice I put the signs as usual, and these ones here are merely just to keep that water from, coming out. That double one's actually not necessary because I put the half slab there. I just kind of left it in place when I added the half slabs. So after that, I went up, and you will notice I went sign water, sign water, sign water, sign water. Very, very complicated, right? Ooh, hugely complicated. I used the ice blocks because they're easier to place, and what I did was I went up and ice, if you saw in the montage, then cobble where a sign was, and then when I went down, I broke the ice, creating water, and when I broke out the cobble, I just put the sign there. You'll also notice I put ice up here, and that is to, again, speed up the process of pushing them into our drop channel. Now, I did not put ice on the very end just because there is lighting up here, and it wouldn't be completely submerged, so that's just kind of to keep it protected on the off chance that there's lava on the outside of this, or should I come through and mine out and put a torch, it's not going to wreck any ice because everything there is completely submerged. Now, this came to our drop trap, which drops us all the way down onto our hopper. Something to note here is, as I said, this will work for a skeleton farm. You don't need that lava there because there's no baby skeletons. Outside of that, the design is essentially the same. Now, this drop is measured actually from where they're going to end up. So I actually counted from here up to find the channel over into this bad boy right here, and then line them up. That determined the height of our water elevator, as you can see, straight up and down. And if you were to count them, you would find that is a 22 block drop. Now, if you just want a kill chamber, 23 blocks will kill almost all of them, save for the ones with armor. It will kill them instantly. Non-armored zombies should take damage down to half a heart at 22 blocks. So we've got a 22 block drop here onto the hopper. You will notice I changed the setup in the video. That's because I will be honest with you guys, every time I do one of these, I end up screwing that count up by 1 or 2 blocks and making adjustments. So it's a good thing to try and make sure you're counted, and then do a test to make sure you're getting the results you want, and then climb back up to make adjustments as needed, or make adjustments on the bottom as needed. Next, we're into the redstone mechanisms. Very, very simple here, you guys. Very simple. So the lighting we'll start out with, you noticed I put the lighting in before I went and cleared that area. That was so I could turn it on, and it would give me the ability to break those blocks and set that ice stream down without zombies falling on my head. So after you build your cage, the redstone is normally the next step you want to do before you remove all those torches you placed. Now, this layout's very, very simple. I go 9 redstone blocks all on the top. There are side designs, and you can get away with a little less redstone, but being as we've got such a long drop, having the roof one is really the most optimized, and it's easy enough to set up. The spacing is 2 apart, And what that ends up leaving you is, if we actually look inside our spawner here, that spaces them out, one from each corner of the wall, one over the center of the spawner, and then the rest are 2 blocks apart from there. For this, I always mark my area with glass first over the spawner, and then I start by placing the redstone lamp above the spawner. Next up is our on-off switch. Nice simple mechanism here, and it's actually going to be hard to see because it's all dark, but very simple. I've got a repeater coming out of a block, and the repeaters in this are just to stretch the signal strength, guys, so it gets to all of them. It's too long a distance to travel without them. Now, on top of that block that redstone repeater is running out of, we have some redstone, which then travels up a block, which then travels up another block, which comes off to the side, which in turn meets up with the block that our lever is on. Now, you don't have to have said given setup. You can have it any way you want. However, this is the layout that I went with just because of my area. The main thing is just to give yourself an on-off switch. You can use a monostable circuit if you want to get into a button. That gets a little bit more complicated. For a monostable circuit, go look at my sugarcane farm, and you will see one implemented there along with an Ethiopian hopper clock. So, outside of that, we have our collection point. Nice and easy. It's just a hopper placing straight down into a chest. I use stairs all the way above the chest and the hopper so that the chest still opens, and then all I did for aesthetics was just put a little bit of grass underneath and our trapdoor so it's easy for me to access. Nice and simple, guys. That's it. That's all. These doors simply just grant us access down to the rest of the area should I choose to do any maintenance or I have any problems. So there's our tunnel going up all the way down. Here is actually where I found the spawner. If you watch the video, you will notice that this is actually the ravine underneath where we found our spawner. So all I did was just clear that out and build the cage around it, and we're good to go. Now, because I had to drop it down so far, if you watch that episode, you would also recognize this area. So again, here's the beginning of our trap, and you notice it goes off to the side here. This is encasing our lava. And I had actually meant to put a sign here, which I'll have to do. I don't have one with me, or I'd do it right now. I've got way too many made, so I'm not going to bother making another one. But that's it. The doors are simply because this goes into open caves, so that'll keep some mobs out. And I did a bunch of work off camera, prettying it up. I need more dirt so I can finish off these walls, and then I'll start continuing with the wood up as well. Also something I need to farm. But you saw in the video, it works pretty good. For the sake of camera, why don't we do, say, a 5-minute test right now, and then we will come back. So I'm going to start the clock right the second I hit this switch, and we can hear them already. Let's see how long it takes one to come up. See how quick that ice actually works. It's pretty efficient, guys. They get pushed relatively quick. We should see one coming up any second now. Yeah, there we go. See how fast? Alright, buddy, we'll see you back in a minute. So, yeah, 5-minute test here, guys. I will be back. Alright, people, we're around the 5-minute mark, and it is important to notice, or to point out, that you did just see the one zombie die there upon impact. Just kind of the way a high-efficiency drop farm works. Unfortunately, because there is so many of them when you fire this up, traveling up and down the water stream, what happens is they kind of push each other around. So the odd one might take a bit of suffocation damage, and some may take a little less fall damage than others because one before them is breaking their fall, etc., etc. So you will get some that'll die on impact, and you will get some that are not a one-hit kill when they drop, but the majority of them will be a one-hit kill. And while it is lossless in XP, it is not lossless in the Rotten Flesh, because as you can see, during that 5 minutes, we acquired 11 pieces of flesh. And that chest was empty before I started. Now, it's also important to notice, you want to set your kill chamber up within 16 blocks of that spawner block, and we are well within that. The spawner block's actually about here. Well, we can go into our spectator mode again, and we'll see it's right below us, off one block to the side, and only a couple blocks down, because we are that 2 blocks above, 1 for our redstone, 2, 3, so we are standing 7 blocks away, which makes us well in range and allows the spawner to run at optimum efficiency. Now, I actually killed the switch before I started recording. I killed it right at the 5-minute mark. So let's see how many entities we've got here. About 50 of them, plus the 11 or so. So, you know, we're looking around 60 entities within 5 minutes. Now, we're at 30 levels already. I actually should have enchanted and used those up, but I didn't. However, you can see even at level 30, with 5 minutes, we are getting a couple levels of experience, no problem. So, at 0 levels, that would probably equate to about somewhere between 5 and 7 levels. Now, let's check what we did. Well, guys, with a looting 3 sword, we're over a stack and a half of zombie flesh, an iron ingot, and a carrot. All in all, I would say that is a pretty good haul. Now, if you wanted to make this lossless in terms of XP, or predominantly an XP farm, you could use this same setup at the bottom, the water stream, and have it maybe not as high if you didn't mind the increased failure rate, or have it just as low. The lower you have it, the more increase in likelihood that some guys are going to die off in the crusher system, but you could use a crusher system and just have this water push them into a block area where you set up the crusher. Obviously, you would still have to have the lava trap for the baby zombies, so you would want your crusher, say, here, where we are standing right now, and have the babies pushed off to the side in the lava stream. It would simply be an act of combining the two. Now, if you want to see a simple crusher system, for the most accurate one, check out my 1.9 episode on kill chambers and kill chambers and portals, I believe is what I called it. It is the second half of my Blaze Farm tutorial, and it'll show you a simple comparator kill chamber that is flawless. It gets them from full health down to a one-shot half-heart kill every single time. The timing is exact. Before we go, I did want to just kind of show you guys on the Ethiopian hopper clock. If you had watched the episode, here's that monostable circuit I mentioned. If you had watched the episode where I built this, you would have noticed that when I built this, we had a redstone dot here and the hoppers were above, and they were moving this redstone dust back and forth above the hoppers. Well, Etho himself, the designer of this, mentioned in a recent episode that to reduce lag, if you block off the top of the hoppers, they are not searching for anything above anymore. then they're simply in transfer mode, moving everything back and forth, and that helps to reduce lag. So to do that, all I did was move the redstone off to the side on the bottom there and put the hoppers off to the side with the redstone block firing back and forth on the side of the hoppers instead of the top. And it does seem to be working, guys. So yeah, just figured I would point that out. You will also notice, if you're longtime viewers of the series or new and routine viewers, that I took the time to expand this area out. That means we will be putting our automatic melon farms in this area here in the very near future. So look forward to that in one of the next ones, guys. I truly hope you enjoyed this series or this episode, and if you did, please smash that like button to show your support for the channel and help others like you to find these videos. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more 1.9 adventures, as well as other awesome series like Ark Survival Evolved and Life in the Woods. And guys, seriously, check that one out. Even if you're a vanilla guy, I'm a vanilla guy, and that is a wicked mod pack for even the vanilla lover. So once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See ya. Bye.